The distress signal had been playing for 3 days when Ambassador Veth finally decided to show it to the Galactic Council. He floated into the great chamber with his body glowing soft blue, the way all Solari did when they found something funny. The other council members noticed his amusement and leaned forward with interest. The chamber was enormous. It was built from crystal that had been grown over thousands of years, and it could hold representatives from over 500 different species. Today, only the 12 senior council members were present. They were the most powerful beings in the known galaxy, and they ruled over trade, war, and peace between the stars. Veth activated the holographic display in the center of the room. A small blue planet appeared, spinning slowly. It was the third planet from a yellow star in a distant arm of the galaxy. Most species had never heard of it. "This world is called Earth," Veth announced. "The creatures who live there call themselves humans. They have been part of our galactic community for about 200 years now." Counselor Teth, a massive creature who looked like a floating cloud of gas with eyes, pulsed with recognition. "Ah yes, the gravity-crushed apes. I remember them. Weak little things, always asking for help." "Indeed," Veth agreed. "They come from what we classify as a Class 12 Deathworld. Their planet has crushing gravity, burning radiation from their sun, extreme temperatures, and countless diseases. The fact that any intelligent life evolved there at all is remarkable." High Arbiter Nal, the oldest member of the council, waved one of his many tentacles. He was ancient beyond counting and had seen empires rise and fall. "What is the purpose of this presentation, Ambassador Veth? We have important matters to discuss." Veth's glow brightened with amusement. "The humans have sent us a distress signal. They are asking for our help." Laughter filled the chamber. It came in many forms. Some species made sounds, others changed colors, and a few released pleasant-smelling gases. But the meaning was the same. They all found this very funny. "What could they possibly need help with?" asked Counselor Metha, a tall insected being with 4 arms. "They have no enemies. They are too weak for anyone to bother conquering." Veth played the distress signal. A human voice filled the chamber, speaking in the common galactic language. It was a woman's voice, and it sounded desperate. "This is Captain Unipark of the Earth Defense Force. 3 days ago, our mining colony on Titan was attacked by Vrek raiders. They killed 62 of our people and took 47 prisoners. We are requesting immediate assistance from the Galactic Council. The Vrek have taken our people as slaves. Please help us." More laughter echoed through the crystal walls. The Vrek were well known throughout the galaxy. They were a species of raiders and slavers who preyed on weaker civilizations. They had been doing this for 6,000 years, and no one had ever stopped them. The Galactic Council tolerated them because they never attacked species that were powerful enough to fight back. The Vrek took human slaves. Counselor Teth found this especially amusing. What use would humans be as slaves? They are fragile and slow, and they cannot even survive in normal gravity. "Perhaps they will use them for entertainment," another counselor suggested. "The Vrek do enjoy watching weaker creatures suffer." High Arbiter Nal silenced the chamber with a gesture. "Ambassador Veth, what is the official response to this request?" Veth straightened his translucent form. "Under galactic law, the Vrek have done nothing wrong. Humanity is not a fully recognized species. They have not met the requirements for protection under our treaties. Their people have no legal standing." "Then there is nothing to discuss," Nal declared. "Send the humans a polite refusal and move on to the next matter." Veth bowed. "It shall be done, High Arbiter." On Earth, Captain Unipark stood in a dark room deep underground. Around her sat the most powerful military leaders on the planet. They had gathered from every nation, united by a threat that none of them could face alone. Admiral Tiho Kim sat at the head of the table. He was an old man with gray hair and tired eyes, but those eyes were sharp and dangerous. He had fought in 3 wars before humanity ever reached the stars, and he had never lost. "The Council has rejected our request," Yuna reported. Her voice was flat and cold. "They laughed at us." Silence fell over the room. On the screen behind Yuna, the faces of the captured colonists were displayed. There were miners who had spent years drilling for precious metals on Titan. There were scientists who had studied the rings of Saturn. There were children who had been born in space and had never seen Earth. 47 of our people," Admiral Kim said slowly, "taken as slaves, and the galaxy laughs." General Hana Seo leaned forward. She commanded the Earth Defense Fleet, such as it was. The ships that the galaxy knew about were old and weak, barely capable of traveling between planets. "Sir, we have no way to pursue the Vrek. Their ships are faster than anything we have. By the time we could reach their territory, our people will have been sold and scattered across 100 different worlds." Admiral Kim did not respond immediately. He stared at the faces on the screen for a long moment. Then he pressed a button on the table in front of him. "Wake the fleet," he said. General Seo's eyes went wide. "Sir, are you certain? If we reveal ourselves now, everything changes. 200 years of hiding, of pretending to be weak, all of it will be over." "I know," Kim replied, "but I will not leave our people in chains while the galaxy laughs at their suffering. It is time." Deep beneath the ice of Antarctica, lights began to flicker on in a facility that did not officially exist. Massive doors that had not opened in decades began to grind apart. Workers who had spent their entire careers waiting for this moment rushed to their stations. In orbit around Jupiter, hidden behind the Great Red Storm, shipyards that no alien sensor had ever detected began to hum with power. Ships that had been sleeping for years came alive, their engines glowing with deadly light. On the dark side of the moon, buried under miles of rock, weapons systems that could crack planets in half began their warm-up sequences. The galaxy thought they knew humanity. They thought they understood these small, fragile creatures from a deadly world. They were wrong. For 200 years, humanity had played the fool. They had accepted insults and mockery. They had pretended to be weak and helpless. They had watched and learned and waited. Now the waiting was over. In the underground command center, Admiral Kim stood and addressed his officers. "Send a message to every ship, every station, every soldier. Tell them the time has come. Our people need us and we will not fail them." He looked at the screen one last time, at the faces of the captured colonists. "The galaxy will learn what it means to take from Earth. They will learn what happens when you make enemies of a Deathworld species, and they will never forget." The message went out across the planet and beyond, to hidden bases scattered throughout the solar system. It was simple and clear. All forces prepare for deployment. Target, Vrek territory. Mission, rescue and retribution. Authorization, Omega-7. The fleet was awake, and it was angry. Fleet Commander Jisoo Han had spent her entire life preparing for this moment. She was 43 years old, born in a secret facility beneath the ocean, trained from childhood to lead humanity's true military forces. Now she stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Vengeance, watching as the greatest fleet in human history assembled around her. The bridge was enormous, filled with officers working at their stations. Holographic displays showed the positions of every ship under her command. There were so many that they looked like a cloud of stars. "Status report," Jisoo ordered. Lieutenant Minyu Choi, her second in command, pulled up the latest data. He was young but brilliant, one of the best tactical minds humanity had ever produced. "All ships are reporting ready, Commander. 3,200 vessels in total. 800 dreadnoughts, 1,200 cruisers, and the rest are destroyers, frigates, and support craft." Jisoo nodded slowly. "And the Vrek fleet?" "Intelligence reports approximately 600 capital ships defending their home system. They have no idea we are coming. Their sensors cannot detect our stealth technology." For 2 centuries, Humanity had hidden its true power from the galaxy. When they first made contact with alien civilizations, they quickly realized an important truth. The galaxy was not a friendly place. The strong dominated the weak. Species that showed power became targets for jealousy and attack. Species that appeared weak were ignored and left alone. So humanity chose to appear weak. They showed the galaxy only their worst ships, their most primitive technology. They accepted insults and mockery with quiet smiles. They traded for scraps of alien knowledge while hiding the fact that they had already figured out most of it themselves. And in secret, in hidden facilities across the solar system, they built. They built ships that could cross the galaxy in days instead of weeks. They built weapons that could tear through any known armor. They built soldiers who were enhanced by technology and training until they were more than human. And they waited. "Commander," Minyu said, his voice hesitant. "The Council has sent another message. They are warning us not to take any action against the Vrek. They say it would be a violation of galactic law." Jisoo laughed, but there was no humor in it. Galactic law, the same law that says our people can be taken as slaves because we are not important enough to protect. "Yes, Commander." "Delete the message. We are done listening to the Council." On the Vrek slave ship Torment, the 47 human captives huddled in a dark cell. They had been given no food or water for 2 days. The Vrek found it amusing to watch them suffer. Yoonji Kang was 8 years old. She had been born on Titan, in the small colony where her parents worked as miners. She had never seen Earth, never felt real sunshine on her face. Now she sat in the corner of the cell, trying not to cry. Her mother held her close. "It will be okay, little one. Someone will come for us." "But the aliens laughed at us," Yoonji whispered. "They do not care." Nearby, an old man named Junho Park overheard their conversation. He had been a soldier once, many years ago. He knew things that most colonists did not know. "The aliens do not matter," he said quietly. "Earth will come for us." Yoonji looked at him with wide eyes. "But everyone says Earth is weak. We have no real ships, no real weapons." Junho smiled. It was a knowing smile full of secrets. "That is what they want everyone to think. Trust me, child, help is coming. And when it arrives, these Vrek will wish they had never touched us." The Vrek captain, a massive scarred creature named Gret, visited the cells to inspect his cargo. He walked slowly past the cages, looking at the humans with cruel amusement. "Pathetic creatures," he growled. "Look at them, so small and weak. I do not know why anyone would want to buy them." His second officer, a smaller Vrek named Voth, checked his datapad. "The markets on Nexus Prime are always looking for exotic slaves, Captain. Humans are rare. Some collectors will pay well for them. And the children. Even more valuable, they can be trained young." Gret laughed, a horrible rasping sound. "Then we shall make a good profit. Set course for the Nexus markets. Best speed." As the slave ship jumped to faster-than-light travel, it did not notice the tiny probe that had attached itself to its hull. The probe was no bigger than a coin, painted black and invisible to sensors, but it was sending a steady stream of data back to the human fleet. On the Vengeance, Jisoo watched the tracking signal with cold determination. "We have them. The slave ship is heading to Nexus Prime. That gives us 14 days to intercept." 14 days, Minyu repeated. "That is not much time, Commander." "It is enough." Jisoo pulled up a map of Vrek space. Their home system, Kithvara, sat at the center of their territory like a poisonous spider in its web. "We will not chase the slave ship. We will go straight to the source." Minyu's eyes widened. "You want to attack the Vrek homeworld directly?" "Yes. While they are focused on defending Kithvara, a strike team will intercept the slave ship and recover our people. By the time the Vrek realize what is happening, it will be too late." The plan was bold and dangerous. It required perfect timing and absolute secrecy. But if it worked, it would do more than just rescue 47 prisoners. It would send a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity was not weak, humanity was not helpless, and humanity protected its own. Jisoo opened a channel to the entire fleet. Her face appeared on screens across thousands of ships. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers, pilots, and crew members stopped what they were doing to listen. This is Fleet Commander Han. In a few hours, we will begin our journey to Vrek space. Many of you have trained your entire lives for this moment. Many of you have never seen real combat, but all of you understand why we are here. She paused, letting her words sink in. 47 of our brothers and sisters were taken. The galaxy refused to help us. The Council laughed at our pain, so we will help ourselves. We will show the galaxy what it means to be born on a death world. We will remind them that we are not prey. We are predators. Across the fleet, cheers erupted. Soldiers shouted and stamped their feet. Pilots raised their fists in the air. For 200 years they had waited in the shadows. Now they would step into the light. Remember who you are, Jisoo continued. You are human. You are born of a world that has tried to kill you every day of your existence. Gravity crushes your bones. Radiation burns your skin. Disease attacks your body. And still you stand. Still you fight. Still you survive. She straightened her shoulders, her eyes burning with determination. The Vrek took what is ours. Now we take it back. All ships prepare for jump. Target Kithvara. Let the galaxy tremble. The fleet began to move, thousands of ships sliding into formation. Their engines glowed like stars as they prepared to tear a hole in space and cross half the galaxy in an instant. The Vrek had no idea what was coming. Neither did the Galactic Council. Neither did anyone else in the known universe. But they would learn. In the darkness of the cell, little Yoonji felt something change. She did not know what it was, but somehow she felt less afraid. Somewhere out there, beyond the stars, something was happening. Help was on the way. The Vrek homeworld of Kethvara had never been attacked. For 6,000 years, the Vrek had raided and enslaved their way across the galaxy, and no one had ever dared to strike back. Their orbital defense grid was the largest in known space. 600 warships patrolled their system. They believed themselves untouchable. They were wrong. The first warning came when 3 communication satellites simply stopped working. The Vrek operators assumed it was a technical problem. They sent repair drones to investigate. The drones found nothing because the human stealth frigates that had destroyed the satellites were already gone, moving to their next targets. Warlord Geth, Supreme Commander of the Vrek military, was eating his midday meal when his aide rushed into his chambers. The aide's scales were pale with fear. Warlord, we have a problem. Multiple defense stations have gone dark. We cannot reach them. Geth wiped his mouth with a clawed hand. More technical failures. I told the maintenance crews to fix the power grid last month. No, Warlord, the stations are not malfunctioning, they are gone. Geth finally looked up from his meal. Gone? What do you mean gone? Before the aide could answer, alarms began screaming throughout the command center. Red lights flashed. Officers shouted in panic. On the main display screen, something impossible was happening. Ships were appearing out of nowhere. They came in waves, dropping out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. First 100, then 1,000, then more and more until the display could not count them all. That is impossible, Geth whispered. Where did they come from? Who are they? His tactical officer checked the sensor readings 3 times before answering. Warlord, they are human ships. Humans? The humans have no fleet. They do now, Warlord. Over 3,000 vessels, and they are heading directly for us. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Fleet Commander Jisoo Han watched the Vrek defense fleet scramble to meet them. The alien ships were large and well-armed, but they were slow and uncoordinated. They had never faced a real threat before. All dreadnoughts form attack line, Jisoo ordered. Cruisers flank left and right, destroyers target their command ships, fighters launch on my mark. Thousands of acknowledgments came back instantly. Human military training was brutal and intense. Every officer knew their role. Every ship knew its position. They moved like a single organism. Commander, Minyu reported, the Vrek are launching missiles. Estimated time to impact, 4 minutes. Point defense systems active. Let them waste their ammunition. The first Vrek missiles reached the human fleet and were instantly destroyed by defensive lasers. The humans did not even slow down. They kept advancing, their formation perfect, their weapons charging. Warlord Geth watched in disbelief as his missiles accomplished nothing. How is this possible? Human technology is primitive. Their ships should be falling apart. No one could answer him. No one understood what was happening. The Vrek had spent centuries studying weaker species, learning how to hurt them and enslave them. They had never studied how to fight a real enemy. The first human dreadnought, the ship called Earth's Fury, opened fire. Its main cannon was a weapon that no alien had ever seen before. It used gravity itself as a weapon, creating a focused beam of force that could crush anything in its path. The Vrek battleship Conqueror was hit directly. Its shields held for exactly 2 seconds before collapsing. Then the ship itself began to crumple, folding inward like paper being crushed in a fist. In moments, it was nothing but a ball of twisted metal. No, Geth breathed. No, this cannot be happening. But it was happening. Across the battlefield, human ships tore through the Vrek defenses with terrible efficiency. Every shot hit its target. Every maneuver was perfect. The Vrek tried to fight back, but their weapons were too slow, their tactics too simple. And then there were the fighters. Human fighters were small ships piloted by a single person. They were designed to operate in conditions that would kill any other species. They could accelerate at rates that would crush Vrek bones to powder. They could turn so sharply that their pilots should have blacked out or died. But humans were different. They came from a death world. Their bodies were built to survive punishment. Their brains were wired for fast reactions. Their bones were dense and strong. What would kill a Vrek pilot was merely uncomfortable for a human. The fighters swarmed around the Vrek battleships like angry insects. They dodged defensive fire with ease and struck at weak points with surgical precision. Engine systems exploded. Shield generators failed. One by one, the great Vrek warships began to die. While the battle raged around Kethvara, a smaller group of ships had a different mission. Captain Donghyun Lee commanded the strike team sent to intercept the slave ship Torment. His team consisted of 50 of the best soldiers humanity had ever trained. They caught the Torment as it was refueling at a station near the edge of Vrek space. The Vrek crew never saw them coming. Donghyun's shuttle attached to the slave ship's hull without a sound. Cutting torches burned through the metal in seconds. Then the soldiers poured inside. The Vrek on board were not warriors. They were slavers, used to dealing with helpless prisoners. They had never faced an enemy who could fight back. Donghyun moved through the corridors like a shadow. His armor was black and covered with sensors that told him exactly where every enemy was. His rifle fired silent shots that dropped Vrek guards before they even knew he was there. Behind him, his team spread out through the ship. They moved in perfect coordination, clearing room after room. Any Vrek who tried to fight was killed instantly. Any who surrendered were restrained and left behind. In the command center, Captain Gret heard the alarms and grabbed his weapon. What is happening? Who dares attack my ship? The door exploded inward. Gret raised his weapon but never got a chance to fire. Donghyun shot him twice in the chest, and the Vrek captain fell dead. Bridge secure, Donghyun reported, moving to the prisoner cells. The human captives had been in darkness for days. They were weak from hunger and fear. When the cell door opened, They expected to see more Vrek guards coming to hurt them. Instead, they saw a human soldier. Donghyun removed his helmet so they could see his face. "My name is Captain Lee. I am from Earth. You are safe now." For a moment, no one moved. Then little Yoonji broke away from her mother and ran to him. She wrapped her arms around his leg and began to cry. "I knew you would come," she sobbed. "I knew it." Donghyun knelt down and picked her up gently. "Of course we came. We are human. We do not leave our people behind." The other prisoners began to cry as well, tears of relief, of joy, of gratitude. They had been told that no one would save them. They had been told that Earth was weak and helpless, but Earth had come for them anyway. Back at Kethvara, the battle was ending. The Vrek defense fleet was destroyed. Hundreds of their ships drifted dead in space. Their orbital stations were burning ruins. Their planet lay exposed and defenseless. But the humans did not attack the planet. They did not bomb the cities or kill the civilians. They simply took up position in orbit and waited. Warlord Geth, the only surviving senior commander, received a transmission from the human fleet. Fleet Commander Jisoo Han's face appeared on his screen. "This is Commander Han of the Earth Defense Fleet. Your military has been destroyed. Your defenses have fallen. We could wipe your species from existence in a matter of hours, but we are not here for conquest." Geth stared at her, his scales pale with fear. "What do you want?" "Your slavers took 47 of our people. They have been recovered. We are leaving now. But hear me well, Warlord. If any Vrek ever touches a human again, we will return, and next time we will not show mercy." The transmission ended. The human fleet began to withdraw, their mission complete. On the Torment, now under human control, the rescued colonists watched through a window as the great dreadnoughts turned and prepared to jump home. Yoonji sat on Captain Donghyun's lap, still holding onto him tightly. "Are we really going home?" she asked. "Yes," he said, "we are really going home." She smiled for the first time in days. "I want to see Earth someday. Is it beautiful?" Donghyun thought of the blue oceans, the green forests, the cities that sparkled at night. He thought of the mountains and the rivers and the endless sky. "Yes," he said softly, "it is the most beautiful place in the universe." News traveled fast across the galaxy. Within hours of the attack on Kethvara, every species in known space had heard what happened. The stories spread from station to station, from planet to planet, growing more incredible with each telling. The humans had attacked the Vrek. The humans had won. In the great crystal chamber of the Galactic Council, the senior members gathered in emergency session. The usual arrogance was gone from their faces. Instead, there was confusion and fear. Ambassador Veth floated at the center of the chamber, his translucent body flickering with nervous energy. He had been assigned to present the report, and he wished desperately that someone else had been given this task. "The battle lasted 4 hours," he began. "In that time, the human fleet destroyed the entire Vrek defense force. 600 capital ships, gone. The Vrek have nothing left." Counselor Teth, the gas giant being who had mocked humanity just weeks ago, pulsed with disbelief. 600 ships, destroyed in 4 hours. That is impossible. The humans have no technology capable of such destruction. "Apparently they do," Veth replied. "We have obtained sensor recordings from the battle. I warn you, they are disturbing." He played the recordings. The council watched in silence as human dreadnoughts tore through Vrek battleships like they were made of paper. They watched fighters perform maneuvers that should have killed their pilots. They watched weapons fire that bent the laws of physics. High Arbiter Nal, who had lived for thousands of years and seen many wars, spoke first. "Where did they get this technology? We have monitored human development for 2 centuries. Their ships were barely functional. Their weapons were primitive." "It was a deception," Veth admitted. "They showed us only what they wanted us to see. Their true capabilities were hidden." "For how long?" Veth consulted his data. Based on our analysis, at least 150 years, perhaps longer. Silence fell over the chamber. The implications were staggering. For over a century, humanity had pretended to be weak while building a military force that could challenge any power in the galaxy. They had watched, they had waited, they had learned. And now they had shown their true strength. Counselor Metha, the insectoid being, raised one of her 4 arms. What do they want? Did they make any demands? No demands. They rescued their people and left, but they did broadcast a message before departing. Veth played the recording. The face of an older human male appeared. His hair was gray and his eyes were hard. To the Galactic Council, you laughed when we asked for help. You dismissed our people as unworthy of protection. You were wrong. Admiral Tiho Kim's voice was calm but cold. There was no anger in it, only certainty. We are humanity. We are born of a world that has tried to kill us every day of our existence, and we have not merely survived. We have conquered. Our sun burns us. Our gravity crushes us. Our predators hunt us. Our diseases ravage us. And still we stand. Kim leaned forward slightly. You called us primitive. You called us weak. Now you know the truth. We are Deathworlders, and we protect our own. This is the only warning you will receive. Do not test us again. The recording ended. The council sat in stunned silence. Finally, Counselor Teth spoke. What do we do now? That question hung in the air. For thousands of years, the Galactic Council had maintained order through a simple system. The strong ruled the weak. Species that showed power were respected. Species that appeared weak were ignored or exploited. But humans had broken that system. They had hidden their power while appearing weak. They had allowed themselves to be mocked and dismissed. And then, when it mattered, they had revealed the truth. High Arbiter Null made a decision. We must open negotiations with the humans. Immediately. We must find out what they want before they decide to take it by force. On Earth, Captain Unipark stood in the headquarters of the Earth Defense Council. The rescued colonists had arrived home safely. Medical teams were treating their injuries. Counselors were helping them deal with their trauma. But Yuna's work was not finished. The council wants to negotiate, she reported to Admiral Kim. They are terrified of us now. Kim nodded slowly. He looked tired but satisfied. Good. Fear is a useful starting point. General Hana Seo pulled up a display showing the current state of the galaxy. Our analysts believe the Vrek Dominion will collapse within months. Without their military, they cannot maintain control of their territory. Other species they oppressed will rise up against them. We expected that, Kim said. Let them fall, they brought this on themselves. Yuna hesitated before asking her next question. Sir, what do we actually want from the council? Now that we have shown our strength, we could demand almost anything. Kim was quiet for a long moment. He walked to the window and looked out at the city below. Seoul had grown in the centuries since humanity reached the stars, but it still looked like home. Millions of people lived their lives down there, unaware of the battles being fought on their behalf. When I was young, Kim said, I fought in wars on this planet. Humans killing humans over land, resources, ideology. We nearly destroyed ourselves a dozen times, and yet we survived. We learned. We grew. He turned back to face his officers. The galaxy expected us to be conquerors. They expected us to demand power and territory. They expected us to become just like the Vrek, preying on the weak because we could. But that is not who we are. Not anymore. Then what do we want? Yuna asked. Recognition. Full status as a galactic species, with all the rights and protections that includes. A seat on the council so our voice can be heard, and a promise that no human will ever be taken as a slave again. General Seo raised an eyebrow. That is, modest. We could demand much more. We could, Kim agreed, but we would become what we fought against. The galaxy has enough empires built on blood and fear. We will be something different. We will be strong, yes. We will defend ourselves without hesitation, but we will not be tyrants. The negotiation team was assembled quickly. Ambassador Sujin Kang was chosen to lead it. She was young for such an important role, but she had a gift for understanding other species. She could read their emotions, anticipate their concerns, find common ground. Before she departed for the council chambers, she met with Admiral Kim one last time. "The council is afraid of us," she said. "Some of them may react badly to that fear. They may try to unite against us." "Let them try," Kim replied. "But I do not think they will. Fear makes people cautious. They will want to understand us before they make any moves. And if they ask about our weapons, our technology, our true capabilities—" Kim smiled slightly. "Tell them the truth. We have been watching and learning for 200 years. We know things about the galaxy that they have forgotten, and we are not finished growing." Sujin nodded and turned to leave. At the door she paused. "Admiral, the little girl who was rescued, Yoonji, she wants to meet you. She says she wants to thank the man who sent the ships." Kim's face softened. For a moment, the hard military commander was gone, replaced by something gentler. "Arrange it when I have time." "Yes, sir." As Sujin left, Kim turned back to the window. The sun was setting over Seoul, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. It looked like fire. Somewhere out there, among the stars, the galaxy was learning a new truth. The Deathworlders were awake, and they were watching. The question now was what humanity would do with its power. Would they become conquerors like so many before them, or would they forge a new path? Kim already knew the answer, but the galaxy would have to learn it for themselves. 1 year had passed since the Battle of Kethvara. The galaxy had changed in ways that no one could have predicted. Ambassador Sujin Kang walked through the crystal halls of the Galactic Council building, her footsteps echoing softly against the ancient floor. Other species moved aside as she passed. Some nodded respectfully. Others simply stared, still unsure what to make of the humans who had turned their understanding of the universe upside down. Today was an important day. Today, Sujin would take her seat as the first human representative on the council. The great chamber was full when she arrived. Representatives from 500 species had gathered to witness this moment. Ambassador Veth of the Solari floated near the entrance. His body no longer glowed with amusement when he saw humans. Now it shone with something closer to respect. "Ambassador Kang," he said, bowing his translucent form, "welcome to the council." Sujin bowed in return. "Thank you, Ambassador Veth. It has been a long journey." "Indeed it has." Veth paused, his light flickering with uncertainty. "I must confess something. A year ago, when your people sent their distress signal, I was among those who laughed. I thought you were weak and foolish. I was wrong, and I am sorry." Sujin considered his words carefully. In human culture, an apology like this was significant. She was not sure if the same was true for the Solari, but she appreciated the gesture. "We do not hold grudges, Ambassador. The past is past. What matters now is the future we build together." Veth's body glowed brighter, a sign of relief among his people. "You are different from what we expected. We thought all Deathworld species were savage and violent. We thought you would try to conquer us." "We thought about it," Sujin admitted. "Some of our people wanted revenge. They wanted to make the galaxy pay for ignoring our suffering, but we chose a different path." "Why?" Sujin smiled. "Because we have seen where conquest leads. On our own world, we spent thousands of years fighting each other. We nearly destroyed ourselves many times, but we learned. We grew. We realized that true strength is not about domination. It is about protection." She walked toward her seat in the council chamber, and Veth floated beside her. "The galaxy is full of species that prey on the weak," she continued. "The Vrek were just one example. There are others out there, raiders and slavers and tyrants who hurt innocent people because they can. We cannot stop all of them, but we can make a difference. And that is what humanity wants, to be protectors. It is what we are trying to be. We are not perfect, we still make mistakes, but we are trying. High Arbiter Null called the council to order. The ancient being's tentacles waved slowly as he spoke. Today we welcome a new member to our assembly. The species known as humanity has proven themselves worthy of recognition. They have demonstrated both strength and restraint. They have shown that they understand the responsibilities that come with power. Null turned his many eyes toward Sujin. Ambassador Kang, please take your seat. Sujin walked to the chair that had been prepared for her. It was simple and practical, designed for human comfort. As she sat down, she felt the weight of the moment. Billions of humans across the galaxy were watching this broadcast. Their future would be shaped by what happened in this chamber. Before we proceed, Null continued, the human delegation has asked to address the council. Ambassador Kang, you have the floor. Sujin stood and faced the assembly. 500 species watched her, waiting to hear what the Deathworlders would say. Thank you, High Arbiter, I will be brief. She took a deep breath. 1 year ago, my people sent a distress signal to this council. We asked for help. We were ignored. 47 of our people were taken as slaves, and you laughed at our suffering. The chamber was silent. Many species shifted uncomfortably at the reminder. We could have responded with anger. We could have demanded revenge. Instead, we rescued our people and showed you the truth that we had hidden for 2 centuries. We are not weak. We never were. But we chose to appear weak because we did not trust this galaxy to treat us fairly. Sujin's voice hardened slightly. We were right not to trust. The Galactic Council protected the strong and ignored the weak. It allowed slavery to flourish because the victims were not important enough to matter. It created a system where cruelty was rewarded and mercy was seen as weakness. She paused, letting her words sink in. We are here to change that system, not by force but by example. Humanity will protect the weak. Humanity will stand against tyrants. Humanity will offer mercy to those who deserve it and justice to those who do not. Counselor Teth spoke up, his gaseous form pulsing with curiosity. And if we refuse to change, if the galaxy continues as it has for thousands of years? Sujin met his gaze without flinching. Then we will do what we must. We have the strength to impose our will on the galaxy. We choose not to use it, but do not mistake our restraint for weakness. Push us too far, and you will discover just how dangerous Deathworlders can be. The warning hung in the air. It was not a threat exactly. It was a statement of fact. But we hope it does not come to that, Sujin continued, her voice softening. We hope that the galaxy can become something better, a place where all species are treated with dignity, a place where children do not have to fear being taken from their families, a place where strength is used to protect, not to destroy. She sat back down. That is all I have to say. For a long moment no one spoke. Then, slowly, applause began to spread through the chamber. It was hesitant at first, uncertain, but it grew stronger as more and more species joined in. Not everyone clapped. Some watched with suspicion or resentment. Change was always difficult, and not everyone would welcome it, but enough supported the humans that a new era seemed possible. On Earth, Admiral Tiho Kim watched the broadcast from his office. Beside him sat Captain Donghyun Lee and a small girl named Yoonji Kang. She was no longer the frightened prisoner he had rescued from the slave ship. Now she smiled and laughed and dreamed of the future. She speaks well, Donghyun observed. The council seems to be listening. They are listening because they are afraid, Kim replied. Fear is a poor foundation for peace. We will need to build something stronger. Yoonji tugged on Kim's sleeve. Admiral, is it true that you sent all those ships to save us? My mother says you gave the order. Kim looked down at the child. Her eyes were bright with curiosity and admiration. He felt old and tired, but her innocence reminded him why he had chosen this path. "Many people worked together to save you," he said. "I just gave some orders. The real heroes are the soldiers who risked their lives like Captain Lee here." Dong Hyun shook his head. "The Admiral is too modest. None of us would have been there without him." Yoonji considered this seriously. "Then you are both heroes. I will remember you forever." Kim smiled, a rare expression on his weathered face. "I hope you remember more than just the rescue, young one. I hope you remember why we fought, not for conquest, not for revenge, but because protecting the innocent is worth any sacrifice." "I will remember," Yoonji promised. "And when I grow up, I want to help protect people too." "Then study hard. Learn everything you can. The galaxy is changing and we will need smart, kind people to guide that change." The broadcast from the council chamber continued. Sujin was answering questions from various species, explaining humanity's intentions, addressing concerns and suspicions. It would take years, perhaps decades, to build the trust that was needed. But the first step had been taken. As the sun set over Earth, Admiral Kim stood at his window and looked up at the stars. They had seemed so distant once, so unreachable. Now they were humanity's new frontier. "We have done something remarkable," he said quietly. "We have shown the galaxy that there is another way. That strength does not require cruelty. That power can be used for good." Donghyun joined him at the window. "Do you think they will listen, really listen?" "Some will, others will not. Change is slow and difficult. There will be setbacks and failures, but the seed has been planted. It will grow." In the council chamber, Sujin finished her remarks with a final statement that would be remembered for generations. "We are humanity. We were born in fire and blood and struggle. We have clawed our way from caves to starships, from ignorance to understanding, from isolation to community. We do not claim to be perfect. We carry our scars, our failures, our sins, but we also carry hope." Her voice rose with conviction. "We believe that strength is not merely the power to destroy. It is the courage to protect, to heal, to build. The galaxy dismissed us once. It will not make that mistake again, not because we demand fear, but because we have earned respect." She stood tall, a small human woman facing an assembly of alien beings who had ruled the stars for millennia. "We are Deathworlders, and we are here to stay." The chamber erupted in applause, not universal but widespread. Something had shifted in the galaxy that day, something important. And on a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star, billions of humans looked up at the night sky and knew that their place among the stars was finally secure. They had fought for it, they had earned it, and they would protect it no matter what challenges lay ahead. The children of Earth had come home at last.